there, I'm Nicole Wilbur. I am a writer and story nerd, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a fun video about the 7 deadly sins a writer can commit. Now, let's be clear, these are fun. I mean, they're serious. You don't want to commit these because they could be bad, but I've done a lot of these, not all of them, but a lot of them. If you have done these things, or if you do them, you're not a bad person, you're not a bad writer, you're not silly, you're not a novice, but there are things that generally just aren't advisable when you're trying to write a story and become an author and all that kind of stuff. Let's get on into this. The number one sin that I hear from people is being afraid to share your work because you think people will steal it. I read this, there's this really great community on Reddit of beta readers, and 2 of these questions I am specifically going to read from their FAQs for writers because it's really, really well written. Well, this is what it says. While many aspiring authors are afraid of their work being stolen, there has yet to be a single documented case of a person stealing an unpublished manuscript and publishing it under their own name. Why? Because it would be the opposite of a get-rich-quick scheme in every single way. Revising and marketing a manuscript is difficult, time-sensitive work, and publishing almost never pays enough to make any sort of money from it. So share your work, make sure you trust the people, and don't be worried about it. Another side to that is sharing your ideas. Maybe you don't want to go around sharing your $1 million idea, but let's be honest, if someone steals your idea, they're gonna write a completely different book than you are. Ideas are cheap. Publishing agents aren't going around being like, gosh darn it, I wish I had some ideas. No, everybody has ideas. It's in the execution of those ideas that the money really comes. Number 2 is arguing with your beta readers. Listen, beta readers are doing us a huge favor. They are reading our books for us. That means that whatever they tell you, whatever feedback they give you is valuable, and you need to respect it and thank them for their time. Don't try to argue with your beta readers and say, no, this is why I'm right, because their experience with your book is correct. But it is equally valid for you to say, thank you very much for that feedback, and then go and delete every comment they ever made and said, well, that was a waste of time. Totally valid, but just don't try to argue with them. You can ask them why, you can try to dig in deeper with them, you can get into discussions, but don't argue. Again, this is that other Reddit post that I found, which I think is really entertaining. I'm gonna read it for you. Again, I just recommend reading this entire post if you're interested in even just best practices for beta readers. It's great. Okay, so this is their story time. They critiqued a fairly long 17,000 word short story with the overarching theme that he thought was boring and confusing. Don't worry, he said it diplomatically. The author responded to the critique point by point, explaining why each comment was incorrect, and attached a 1,400 word piece called Why Won't You Just Tell Me What It Means? A Reader's Plaint, which he sends to everyone who critiques one of my stories because it simplifies explaining the same thing separately to each critiquer, and he hopes I find it interesting and useful. The next line of this is, fellow writers, I found it neither interesting nor useful. Don't do this. Don't do any of this. Don't send an essay explaining why your beta reader is wrong. Don't critique point by point. Just be nice and thank them for their time. And you know what? It's good to not just dismiss a piece of feedback that you don't like. It's to dig in and ask why. One of the best pieces of beta reader feedback I ever got for a story was someone who completely misunderstood what was going on. They had no idea. They thought it was a horror story and it was realistic fiction. And I was like, what? But I could have been like, oh, they're dumb. But I didn't. Instead I said, clearly, I did not do a good job of setting the tone and explaining what's actually going on. It was too abstract, and I made the story much better. So, there you go. Be careful with your beta reader feedback and don't argue. I'm just popping in here to say, if you're liking this video so far and if you're still watching, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me. It helps bring more people to my videos, and I would seriously, seriously appreciate it. Thank you so much, and now let's hop back in. Number 3 is characterizing through appearance, ethnicity, or identity. So there are a lot of writers, I did this too when I was younger, of being like, this character has blonde hair, and this character has red hair, and this character has brown hair, and there we go, they're done. No. A character's appearance has very little to do with their actual character. And while someone's appearance or ethnicity or identity can be an important part in how they experience the world or how they show up to the world, it's only a very small part of their actual character and their actual person. I've seen this be done really, really poorly, like diversity gone very, very wrong. In one book in particular, where the author was literally like, and this person is Filipino, and this person is from Somalia, and this person is a gay, half Asian, half black person. And I was like, those were all the details that they gave me. And I was like, I understand you're trying to do a diverse story. It's amazing, but you know what is not a diverse story? It's relying on the fact that people will assume enough about the character given their ethnicity or identity to characterize. Like, that's not characterizing character, that's just a part of it. You know what I mean? It, like, not every female has the same experiences, or male has the same experiences or the same personality, just like not every Indigenous person has the same experiences or personality or character, and not every Asian person has the same personality and experiences or gay character, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what, this is very obvious, but I saw this in a published book, and it drives me insane. Someone's ethnicity or appearance or identity is not their character. Can I say it louder for the people in the back, please? A really good example of diversity done fairly well, I think, especially considering this book was published literally in the 90s. And I mean, Meg Cabot is just awesome. I think she's great. Was the Princess Diaries series. It didn't really show forth in the movie, but in the books, her best friend is Lily, who's Jewish and is like this crazy nerd. She's not crazy, but she has like parents who are psychoanalysts, and she's like so nerdy and intense. And then her other best friend is Tina Hackenbaba, who's South Asian, and she is a little bit shy and a little bit chubby, and she loves romance novels, and she's like the sweetest person, and she does this crazy eye makeup and is really into lip gloss. Like, she's very, very girly. And then there was Shamika, and Shamika is black at her school, and she also is really, really good at everything, and she gets all straight A's, and she's a cheerleader, and she's super popular, and like it goes on and on and on with a bunch of these different characters. Boris, who's a major character in it, he is Russian, but he is a Russian violinist who tucks his sweaters into his pants, and his parents were, I think, it's implied that they were refugees from Russia. It goes on and on and on. Diversity isn't just having someone in the story. It's actually creating a character of that person, you know? Okay. Number 4, deadly sin, is querying before the book is done. Now, I have never done this because I have never queried, but I've heard about it, and I just thought, I've heard quite a few people doing this, and it doesn't make sense, so I'm not gonna dwell on this one, but like, if you haven't finished your book, don't query it, because the agent, if they end up asking for a preview of it, then you like can't query that agent again, because they're like, this person lied and said they didn't have a manuscript, ? So like, even if you're editing but it's not ready, like, don't query it until it's ready. And do I know 100% what point it's ready? No, I'm gonna link a really good video below that talks about that, but like, finish the book first and do a couple round of edits. Number 5 is ignoring story structure. Now, I know we have plotters and we have pantsers, but whether you are a plotter or a pantser, story structure is super, super important. Try to pick up a book or read a journal or an article or watch a YouTube video or something on basic story structure, because you really do need to know story structure. Whether you're applying the story structure before you're writing, while you're writing, after you're writing, however you want to do it, you need it. I have a bunch of book reviews that I will link down below about story structure. Go check those out. Number 6 is thinking we're doing something completely new and original that has never been done before, and we are going to innovate the genre and change publishing forever. Yeah, because the truth is that nothing really is original, and when us new writers come in and we're like, we're doing something that's totally original and it's never been done before, it usually means we're doing something that's like so weird, like not having a real genre, or not using structure, or not having character arcs, or like doing second person. Like, it's so weird that it's kind of, although nothing in art is wrong, it's kind of wrong. It's kind of wrong. You know, I think it's Picasso. Who was Cubism? I don't know. But all the painters who ever did the crazy stuff with paint, they had to learn the rules of art and spent years and years and years studying those rules of art, the basics, before they went to break them. You have to know the rules to break them. So focus on learning the rules first before you go off and break them. And we have to remember that nothing is original, but we can be authentic and we can be fresh and we can bring our own voices. And so using a genre structure, choosing a genre and being really certain about that, using story structure, following the sort of guidelines that we see on YouTube, that we see on blogs, etc., is like a structure for us to innovate in. Creativity loves constraints, so give yourself constraints, because there is so much creativity that can be done within the confines of normal stories. And then once you've been able to do that, then maybe you can innovate it because you will know the rules. But just how you work within that structure is how you can be fresh and how you can be authentic to you, because your voice to this story is really important. I like to say that yes, this story has been told before, but it hasn't been told by you, and no one in the entire world has every single experience that you've had. You're a collection of experiences and cultures and places and things that have really shaped a unique identity for you. So bring that to the work. That is the unique part. You don't have to go messing with story structure. And finally, deadly sin number 7, watching YouTube videos or filming YouTube videos when you should be writing. So go write. Go write right now. Pick up your pen. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to my channel and you haven't been here before, think about pressing the fun subscribe button, because why not? And then you can see when I post other things if this is your thing. Amazing. Go write. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.